Hello and welcome back to Beauty Bee. I have been wanting to be a little bit more experimental with my makeup. I want to try some different things, and the biggest hurdle for me is that I tend to do a lot of my face just on autopilot, and blush in particular is one that I don't even think about. I might choose a slightly different color, but every day I use pretty much this brush and almost always this Tarte Harmony blush, which is sort of a nude pink on me. It's pretty soft, and actually, I did it today as well. I go cheek, cheek, a little bit across the bridge of the nose, and I think it looks good on me, but it is somewhat limiting, and I decided there may be better things out there. So a few days ago, I just searched Google for blush placement, and it took me to a Marie Claire video from, I believe, a year or two ago. I will link that down in the description, and there's probably a picture up right now of the thumbnail to that video. But they showed 4 different placements for blush, none of which was what I usually do. So these last few days, I've been trying out a different one each day, and in this video, we're going to go through the results, see how these 4 different blush placements impacted my face and what I thought of them. Now, for easy comparison across day to day, I decided to use the same blush every time. So again, same blush, and I also used the same brush for each application. And I figured that that would make it easier to see the impact of the independent variable here, which is the placement of the blush. So on day 1, I went for a blush right below my cheekbone, sort of a blush tour, I believe is the term that was pretty big for it a couple of years ago. Now, I think that for some people this would work really well, and I don't think this looked bad on me, but it was probably my least favorite of the 4 placements that I'm going to go through today. I felt like it brought my face down a little bit, and while it did have a bit of a sharpening effect for my cheekbones, I thought that other ones later on did a better job of it, and I worry that it might have looked a little bit gaunt in some lighting. I think that this might be better with a little bit more of a brown toned blush. I think maybe that would straddle the line between contour and blush a little bit better than the pink I chose. I don't tend to use blushes like that, but if I ever do come across one, I think that I will give this another go. Now, day number 2 involved putting blush right up at the temple. So I focused my blush right around here, and then I dragged it down a little bit onto my cheekbone. Now, this isn't a great blush placement for me every day, because when I wear my hair down, which I do 90% of the time because my hair is, not very long, it's kind of hard to put back, I can't see that part of my face. On this particular day, I had pulled my hair back so you could actually see my temples, and I loved the effect that this gave. I felt like this did a better job than the previous day's look of lifting my face. I felt like it really did bring out my cheekbones. It almost looks like I'm wearing highlighter in some of these images, but I'm not. And I thought it was really pretty. It was kind of fresh and kind of different. Not what I usually do, but in a good way. And definitely, I think when I am wearing my hair back, this is going to become something that I reach for quite often. Day number 3 was the stripe of blush right along the cheekbone. On this day, I started right on the apple, and then I pulled it all the way back and up almost to my temple. Now, this just covered a lot more area than I was used to. I mean, usually my blush goes only to about here, and this felt like it was almost a stripe all the way across my face. I don't have any personal strong feelings about how this came out. I do think that it made my cheekbones appear a little bit more prominent, which I appreciated, but I don't know. This is not something that I think I'm going to be excited to use. However, if I am using maybe a more interesting blush color, or I just don't have a whole lot going on the rest of my face, this might be a nice way to bring some color to my cheeks. And finally, for number 4. Now, this was just focusing on the apple of the cheeks, so just right here. I felt that it was natural when doing this to end up with a little bit more color than I usually put down. It just didn't feel very impactful with a really super light sheer layer that I usually wear, so I ended up building up the color somewhat. And I think that this ended up looking so much like what I wear day to day. I didn't realize just how little I actually end up with on the bridge of my nose most days. To me, this just looked like my normal look, and while it is pretty and while I do like it, it didn't, expand my horizons in the same way that I was looking for. So I thought that this was kind of a fun little exercise. I got to try some new techniques, and I do think that I learned how exactly these different blush placements impacted my facial structure. It was a fun little experiment, and I at least tried something new. And I do think that there are some elements of this, in particular that blush on the temples, that I think I will be using quite often going forward. If there are any blush placements that you do and love that you didn't see in this video, I would love it if you would share them in the comments, because this has sort of whet my appetite. I am still very interested to try new things, and I feel like blush, I've learned this week, is an easy way to mix things up a little bit while not going so wild that I wouldn't be okay wearing this to work or school, wherever I need to go. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing if you did. I'm already looking forward to next time. Bye!